Super Bowl,
Katie, Toyota,
Taylor Swift,
Apple iPad, American Idol.
When a word or phrase is tweeted more than usual on Twitter, it's called trending. Let's talk about what's trending now on the Derrick Ashong Experience. Be sure to follow Derrick Ashong on Twitter at twitter.com/Ashong. ASHONG.
All right. I am letting y'all know right now we're talking about trending, and we are going to try to get the DNAX trending on Twitter. For those of you who don't know what trending is, and actually some of y'all don't know what hashtags are, because people keep asking me, what's the pound sign? I'm like, it's not a pound sign. It's not a pound sign. It's a hash sign. It's the same as a number sign, but when it's on your phone, it's a pound, but when you tweet, it's a hash. And what a hashtag does, for those of my Facebook friends who have been asking me, and I know some of you I have not had a chance to respond to, but I'm going to tell you right now, what the hashtag does is it enables us to indicate that we're talking about a particular topic, and that anybody who adds that hash on there can then be a part of that conversation, right? And basically, if you put that hashtag on, if I search for it, I can see everybody who's talking about it, whether I know them or not. And it means that when I'm on Twitter, I can have a conversation, yes, with my followers and the people that I follow, but I can have a conversation with anyone in the world about something that I think is cool if we give it that hash. And we all enjoy the conversation. So the hashtag for this conversation is not pound. I just explained this to pound. I'm here saying it's pound. Forget about it. The experience is over. Look, I'm saying it's not a pound sign. It's a hashtag. It's hash the DNAX. DNA is spelled D-N-A. Just for those that don't know. Now, basically, while we're doing this, I'm giving you all the opportunity to ask me questions. So what we're asking is for you to hit me with any question that is coming to your mind. It can be political. It can be social. It can be musical, artistic. It can be personal. I am going to give you answers live on the air right now as we speak, because this is social media. Now, and before I take your questions, and like I said, ask me anything. Don't be shy. If it's too rude or too crude, we won't put it on the air. But so long as it's polite-ish, we'll answer as best we can. The DNAX. Hash the DNAX. Let's see if we can get trending. Now, before I answer the first one, I was telling some of you earlier that this is the Derrick Ashong Experience. It's not the Derrick Ashong Show, right? And the fundamental reason is not because Derrick Ashong came down from high and now we answer his questions. That's not the idea, okay? It's not because DNA is oh so fly. We want to look at him because he's great. I'm an Episcopalian, y'all. That's how we get down. No, that's not why. It's an experience. It's an experience not because I'm so dope. It's an experience because you and I are in this together, and it goes beyond the confines of our live broadcast. See, if it was just a show, you come here, you watch, you hear me go on, yada, 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 yo, gabba, gabba, which is a great show, by the way. And then you think to yourself, okay, that was cute, and you move on with your lives. But this is an ongoing dialogue. We are trying to understand the world that we live in. We are seeking truth. We are seeking it together. And that goes beyond 3 hours on Saturdays, noon till 3 Eastern, 9 to noon Pacific. It goes beyond these 3 hours. It's 24/7. So jump up on Twitter, jump up on Facebook, jump up on Ustream. Be a part of this conversation, not only now, but all day long, every day. You can call us, 866-OPRA-XM, 866-677-2496. We're taking your questions, and we're going to answer them. We Do Media One wants to know, since you are in Cali, what is your take on the medical marijuana epidemic? Lord of his mercy. What's my take on the medical marijuana epidemic? Well, We Do Media One. I'm actually very impressed that you asked me. I've been thinking about it. This is fascinating because I personally, I don't smoke marijuana. I don't either particularly have a problem with people who do. I know I'm supposed to say just say no to drugs, but I think that you're free to do what you want to do, or at least you should be. I'm a libertarian, for those who haven't figured it out yet, but we'll get to that another day. Anyway, I don't personally smoke, and for a variety of reasons, I don't think that I like to know what's going on around me, and I don't feel I need to be in an altered state to have a wonderful experience. That said, I did get a chance to do a really cool research project this year for a news media outlet that was basically asking what is the state of medical marijuana in California, because basically our governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, back in I think it was March or April, he basically said that, well, we have this massive budget deficit and we need to look at ways of making up the money, and we should consider legalizing marijuana. He basically was like, yo, should the state of California become a drug dealer because it was broke? Sounds like some friends I used to hang out with. Anyway, so the state of California wants to know if they should slang drugs so that they can pay up their debts. And my thing was like, well, people think about this medical marijuana issue, and first of all, think about, should we legalize it? And you think about casual use, and there are all these stores out there that people can go and buy. You go to Venice and everyone's getting it, but I'm like, what happens to the people who are really affected? So I actually had the opportunity to speak to a couple, a woman who was a 2-time cancer survivor and who basically had a double mastectomy, and she was a doctor. And she was very nauseous when she was going through her chemotherapy treatments. And her physician said, you should try marijuana as a way of calming you. And she did it, and it calmed her appetite, her nausea. She was able to eat whole food down, and she recovered. Her husband was an attorney, and he was working to help her do this. They collaborated with the sheriff's department in their local area to make sure they were following the rules, because medical marijuana is legal in the state of California. And basically, after doing this for 5 or 6 years, the federal government came in and prosecuted them and sentenced them each to, I think, 5 years in prison. They lost the case. And they said that in the case, you cannot have any defense that mentions medical usage of marijuana. Because whereas the state of California says that it's legal and there's a real medical benefit for a double mastectomy cancer survivor, that basically the federal government doesn't recognize it. And what the woman had done is she said, oh, I'm a doctor, it worked for me. So she started writing prescriptions or notes for other people to be able to use it. What's the point of all this? Basically, California has got a problem with this issue because state government says it's okay. Federal government says it's not okay. And what's happening on the ground is people are finding all kinds of ways so that you're like, oh my God, oh my cataracts, they're killing me. I'm 23, but it's a big problem. Can I get some medical marijuana? Quotes unquote. And if you walk down Venice Beach, they be trying to sell you a problem. It's like a pharmaceutical company commercial. It's like, are you tired? Are you lonely? Do you feel nervous standing up in front of crowds? Do you get really sleepy late at night? Use marijuana. Use Ambien, whatever it is. Anyway, so my take on that, as for We Do Media, I feel like, hey, I think it's okay for it to be legal for medical use, but we have to have a better system so that we can distinguish between personal and medical use. And if we decide that it's going to be okay for recreational use, we've got to have good methods of regulating it, because otherwise you're going to have criminals that are already established making a ton of money on something that we should have controls over, so that we make sure that we're actually benefiting society and not creating new problems. So I see at Maximus is asking, who are you? At Maximus. Well, at Max_Maximus. I am Derrick Ashong, host of the Derrick Ashong Experience on Oprah Radio. I'm a musician. I'm the leader of a band called Soulfege. You can check us out on soulfege.com, SOULFEGE. We make music that is reggae, hip-hop, West African flavors all put together. I'm also a social entrepreneur. I look at ways in which business can be used as a tool for social advancement. I lecture. I'm an academic. I was in a PhD program studying the influence of music on youth identities, and I quit because I wanted to be in the real world making changes. I have lectured before the United Nations Alliance of Civilization in Spain, sat on a panel with former president of Ireland, Mary Robinson and Queen Noor of Jordan. I have spoken before UK Parliament. I've met with the heads of state of Colombia, the Mexican finance minister. I've done work with kids in the hood in New York and Boston, LA, and various parts of the Midwest. I've worked with kids in Jamaica, and I've worked with youth in Seattle, in Sweden, in Indonesia, and in my home country of Ghana. I'm what you'd call a global citizen, and this is my experience. Next question. What's good? Madison 1999 says, what happened to the live broadcast? That might be a technical issue, Madison 1999. I don't know what to tell you because people keep sending me questions. So I'm assuming that they still hearing us. I see that one of the main things that's actually currently trending, and this is interesting because we're going to get to something that I care about a lot momentarily. And that's the Grammys. But before that, I hear that one of the interesting things that's trending is Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is trending on Twitter. You guys, Justin Bieber is trending on Twitter. He's 15 years old. The Derrick Ashong experience, I'm 34 years old. We should be trending like twice as much. Send me a note with your hashtag, #DNAX. Justin Bieber is trending. He's an artist with Usher. Good for him. I have another question from Lindy28 who wants to know, what did I think of Pink's performance at the Grammys? Yo, honestly, I didn't really think during Pink's performance. I was just like, wow. And I thought it was, I don't really know what to say. I thought it was very dynamic, it was amazing. It was very provocative, but really creative. And I can't believe that a person could be wet and upside down and still sing. And she's not just like your typical pop starlet, like, hey, we found a cute girl, let's put her on the stage. Like, Pink can really blow, and I don't know nobody that can sing upside down. I certainly can't, so that's what's good. That's the answer to that question. Beth Ascoli online. Can't wait for you to talk more about libertarian. I've been exploring that recently. Well, Beth Ascoli, what is a libertarian? A libertarian is a person who fundamentally believes that government should not be unduly involved in the lives of the citizenry. And I actually really vibe with that. The only issue I have is that libertarianism at this point has become way too ideological. It's become an article of faith that government is necessarily bad. If you guys have ever visited a country that doesn't have a functioning and structured government, you would realize that there are much, much, much bigger problems, much bigger potential problems that are out there that are not necessarily the ones we're dealing with today. So I would never want to say that there's no reason for government. I just think that government should not be dictating the mores of the society, and that government should not, beyond the basics, don't kill, don't rape, don't molest children, core things, but that government should not tell you whether you can or cannot have a gun. I do think that it's acceptable for government to say that, well, if you've committed a crime or if you are mentally imbalanced and we believe you could kill somebody else, then no, you shouldn't have a gun. So I'm not ideological. I want to always think about how do these things work. But fundamentally, libertarians believe that government should give you the opportunity to be as free as you can be. And I agree with that. I also think that there's a place for responsive and responsible government, and I want us to get to that. That's what libertarianism is all about. Now, we're going to have an amazing guest come through in a little bit. But before we do, I want to get a little deeper on a subject that I care deeply about, and that is music. And I want to talk to you about the Grammys. The Grammys on Sunday were quite the spectacle. And for all of my Twitter friends, and you're free to become one, twitter.com/Ashong, we were having a jam that night. It was so funny. Honestly, I was in a car. I gave a speech in Athens, Georgia on Monday, and I was in a car being driven from Atlanta to Athens. And so I couldn't watch certain parts of the Grammys, the very, very beginning. And but I did get to see it all on Twitter. It was insane. I got to watch some of it later, but it was amazing just catching so much of the vibe on Twitter. You guys were off the hook. There were some things in the Grammys that I felt like were super dope. And one of them was a particular band that put a whole new spin on real music. And I'm talking about real music. I'm not just talking about these, sort of manufactured kids that get up there and it's like, oh, I'm cute, and my record label invested millions of dollars so that you would hear about me, and now here I am. No, I'm talking about dudes that really bring it. And in this instance, the Zac Brown Band. Can I get my clip of the Zac Brown Band singing America the Beautiful? Can I get a little love on that?
America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
From sea to shining sea. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. These guys are singing real music. And when they sang America the Beautiful, it's like they meant it. Like they meant it. Like they could see that beautiful vision before their very eyes. And that's what artistry's all about. They made it real for us. They made you feel something. It wasn't just plastic. It wasn't just made up. I'm talking about the Zac Brown Band. It's a country band, and they be rocking some good country vibes. Can we get clip number 22, please, of my crew?
Salute the ones who die, the ones who give their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fries. Old beer on Friday night, a pair of jeans to fit us right, and the radio
So sweet, man. That's good music. I see Rita Coburn Whack back in HQ just shaking her groove thing over there because it's good music. People be like, oh, Derrick Ashong, how can you like country music? Actually, country music is one of the most popular forms of music in Ghana, where I was born. I grew up listening to Kenny Rogers and John Denver. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. I'm talking about country roads. Don't take me home. Anyway, yo, I love that music. I thought it was great. Now the fact of the matter is, most of the music that I play personally is not country. I actually tend to play a lot more hip hop, and I I was listening very carefully to the hip hop section in the Grammys, the hip hop thing. It was like Drake and Lil Weezy, and it was Eminem, and it was a big deal, the titans of hip hop. And I listened to the song, and we're gonna play you a clip, and I'm gonna warn you. You're gonna hear something peculiar. Peculiar. I can't even spell that word, peculiar. Something peculiar is what you're going to hear. And it's not your radio. Your radio is not broken. We go listen, and then I go explain what is happening. Do not change the station. Oh. Listen to your radio. Please play the clip. Yo, did y'all hear that? For those watching on YouTube, you see I'm trying to get my groove on. I'm trying to bob my head to this thing, but I got to keep interrupting my bobbage because the song keeps cutting outage. And why? Because for whatever reason, something that was being said, the censors felt like it was inappropriate. Now, I know some people be like, oh, they should have been free to say what they want to say, and the censors were biased and blah, 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 blah. But I've seen a lot of people on the air that night. I ain't seen nobody else have their mic cut down. And I've been to a lot of hip-hop shows. And I've heard Eminem and Lil Weezy and Drake, and I've definitely heard them say things that you couldn't put on the air. So I'm going to actually give CBS the benefit of the doubt that they didn't just screw up the telecast for kicks. And the question that I asked, and we said this on Twitter earlier this week, is, yo, if you're doing a show for like 20,000 people, right there, 20,000 people, and you got like 5 or 10 million watching on TV, 20,000 people in the room, it sounds like big. 5 or 10 million watching you. And you can't do a song where we can actually hear all the lyrics? I mean, get out of here. Get out of here. And then some idiot's going to tell me, oh, we keeping it real. We keeping it real. Please, some all-white dude sitting in an office in a Madison Avenue is deciding what keeping it real is for you to make sure that he can maximize the return on his investments. And then we're supposed to buy that this is authentic youth culture. I'm not buying it. That was whack.